Weird. Alright. That was a total fucking shit show of loss of connection. So, not only did we lose the goddamn connection, but we also fucking did not save the last however long we were just on to Instagram stories. So that's cool. But, yeah, we're gonna have Drew come on. Yeah. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Hopefully we have no connection issues here. What up, guy?
Hi. Got my
Hi.
little sponsorship in the background.
That's good. Smart. Yeah, the three people who watch this are definitely going to be excited for that.
Yeah.
Welcome. I don't know what the fuck was going on. It actually took me like 6 minutes to reconnect. I don't know what the fuck is going on my end or Courtney's end. I know it's raining here. Maybe it's the rain. You know, rain in California is pretty serious. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was very like I said, it was kind of skipping around, and I thought it was just me. I was like walking all around the house trying to see if the Wi-Fi would connect a little bit better, but then once that's why I asked Chris. Yeah. You'd be losing everything that just happened?
Yeah, like it did not fucking save to the story element thing. That's
Okay.
at the top. Usually that's how I record it. Now it's gone.
Yeah.
And now you're completely black and spinning, so this is great. Okay, now you're back.
Cool.
I reset my phone and everything, so I don't know what the fuck the deal is here. You're still spinning. So maybe it's me. It's me, everybody. It's me.
It's raining.
It's raining in California, and you know what that means? Everything is going to shut the fuck down. Let me disconnect from the internet and just try to use my phone Wi-Fi. All right, let's try this one now.
All right.
Okay, here we are. Yeah, so if you're just now hopping on, you know, we just rambled on with really shitty connections about Game of Thrones for like a half hour, and we'll probably still have some shitty connections. But what's funny about when you go and watch it tomorrow, it'll actually be normal, and the freezing is actually not really a thing when you watch it again. So
yeah.
Just bear through it if you can, if you're watching right now, and if I can try to watch it on YouTube if it manages to post this even, because it didn't post the last half hour, so I don't fucking know. It was all for nothing. Life is a joke. I feel like a peasant in King's Landing. So I can hear you, and I hear you live, but you are just a spinning circle. So
all right.
So you're just a podcast, which you're used
to. Well, I mean, Courtney kind of set. I mean, I guess it's lost to time now, but it kind of said it pretty way more angrily than I would now. But fuck everybody that's signing that petition. So, I don't know. I think a lot of it is, and I don't know. I was blamed of being a snob about it when I said it to people, but like, how long have you been watching?
It's a long ass time. It's almost a decade.
Yeah, I mean, you've been watching since one though, or?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I jumped on like
I binged the first season. So that's the first season, like, because, you know, I'm a nerd, and when things get popular in nerd communities, I tend to check them out pretty quick.
Yeah.
I remember I had hurt my back, so I was like laid up on the floor, and I just burned through the whole first season. And I remember I was really bored until they chopped Ned's head off, and then I was like, what the fuck kind of show is this? I was like,
yeah.
I was like, you're going to kill the only star and the main character of your show, like, in the first season, and then there's more episodes after that? I was like, this show's fucked up, and it's been like that ever since.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been watching kind of since season 2, and it was almost for that same reason. I was about halfway in. I had heard about it before, obviously they're like, oh man, you got to watch it. You got to watch it.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, all right. So I actually tried watching it the first time, and just that fantasy style was never like I'm not like I don't like Lord of the Rings. I'm like one of the few people that don't. And so like it was hard for me to watch. Plus, it was like all the names, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So,
It's a lot to digest those first 2 seasons for sure.
Yeah. So about into the second season, I was like, you know what? People are talking about this still. Let me give this a shot again. And I like made a thing to like watch the first 3 episodes. And honestly, it was at the end of the first episode when Jamie actually pushed Bran out the window. I was like, okay. I'll give this a shot. And you know, I think I don't know. Like I said, I was kind of blamed of being snobby when I said this, but I feel like a lot of the thing is a lot of the binge watchers who haven't.
Yes, I agree.
They haven't experienced that over time. They've experienced
Yes.
it over the past couple months. That, like you said, you're used to this. I mean, anybody who came in after the Red Wedding hasn't really lost anybody that they've really grown with.
Yeah, and I was just talking about this with my girlfriend the other day, and I was like, when you binge watch a show, like let's say you are 4 seasons back,
Mm-hmm.
you do not pay attention the way you do a week to week
Right.
or like view does, because like when you watch a show week to week, you are like literally absorbed in the moments so much more attentively than you would be just because I've burned through shows before. I burned through The Wire. Like I didn't watch The Wire was on. I burned through The Wire. There would be times I would just get up and go to the bathroom because I was just like watching one episode after the other, and I thought it was really good, but I didn't appreciate it on a level that I would have if I was watching it at that time. And I think people, when they binge watch a show, they go, I like her, I like him, I want this to happen, I like these things, and then they don't pay attention to the little details the show is feeding you over time and the messages, like basically the overall point of the show. And
especially with Danny, there's been so many things, and like if you just take how Daenerys and Jon execute people, right?
Yes.
So just go back to not even that far, just like 2 seasons ago. So Jon has to kill Ollie, who put a knife through his heart. And even when he has to do that, he's kind of like, these little doe eyes are just going to cry because I have to kill somebody. But then you see Danny, and, you know, everybody's talking about, like, her brother and all that. But you just go back to the Tarleys last season where,
the Tarleys.
You know, she was like, no, you're done.
Yeah, she didn't really give that much thought. And that was always her thing. She's cold-blooded. Because her cause isn't a righteous one. Her thing is that she thinks because of who she is, she should be in power, not because of not who she is as a person, but just because of her bloodline and her right. She's like, she's a total like, this is my destiny. Nothing can get in the way of this. Jon is that other character where he's like, he's all heart and he's stupid. That's why he's dumb. That's why he's dumb, because he knows
nothing.
He is a fucking moron. And she is ice cold because she's half dragon. She's ice cold, and she doesn't have like she's never really had a righteous quest. She only freed slaves and shit to get the people behind her, to get the armies, to get these things, to amass these pieces. It's not like she just went there and freed them and then just walked off like Jesus in sandals into the desert and was like, I've done a good thing. Like,
even then,
she just took all of the soldiers.
Even then, like what she did to the masters, like crucifying them.
Yeah, she did a lot of fucked up shit, and people forget, and that's why I think it's like you get really caught up in what you want to see in a show. And I get that. Like, I have selfish wants in the show, and I totally am sad when they don't come true. And that's fair. That's with anything. You're reading a book or watching a show. You're allowed to be disappointed with what happens, the characters, but you don't own it at the end of the day, and you can't demand people to remake art because you didn't like it or that thing made you sad. And it's like, okay, literally every
Yeah.
fucking book that's like a classic book is like, if you can't rewrite it because you didn't like the ending was sad.
Yeah, and it's just because you've built up this thing in your head what you want. And how many times has people, I mean, I feel like over the course of all these great shows that we've had recently, there's been like two of them that people have been happy with the last season of.
Yeah, it's really, but also on top of that, we are also living in the times of outrage culture where it's like everybody
Yes.
has an amplified voice. And when you get like a fucking like a snowball of dipshits, you can like, oh, we're just gonna get this fucking canceled. We're gonna be done with this. You're done with this
Yeah,
person
and
because blah blah blah. And it's like everything fucking snowballs now, and it's like, and it's on the internet. It happened. The same thing happened with the Last Jedi, and now it's just like it's a part of it now.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they,
Actually, I was Caleb, Courtney's brother, posted a great thing on your when you posted the thing about the petition. He said, yeah, I hope that remake of season 8 is as good as the Last Jedi remake.
yeah, it's Last Jedi. Last Jedi is good. It's not what you wanted to happen, so it's a bad movie, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's not. It's you don't own it. You don't fucking own it. George Lucas is the only person who's allowed to complain when these movies come out because he created all this crap, and then
Yeah.
they make new ones, and he's not writing it. He can go, I don't like that. But even then, he's not bitching because he's rich as fuck, and who cares? Like also knows, like he knows at the end of the day, if there is something you like, it doesn't go away because something after it comes that you don't like that. That doesn't mean the shit you liked is done or it disappears. You can
Mm-hmm.
still watch those shitty old movies. Old Star Wars movies, shout out to Chris, are boring. And the new ones are a lot better. I'm sorry. They're shot better. They're beautiful. They're fucking amazing. They don't fight like slow old geezers. It's those scenes are boring. Like I get the appeal, but it was the 70s, bro. Like fuck off. Like and I get it. It's like you're nostalgia, but you're entitled. It doesn't go away. Like they remade RoboCop, and it was terrible, but that didn't erase RoboCop.
Right.
RoboCop is still a movie you can watch. If you only like Game of Thrones to season 6, enjoy the shit out those seasons and go write your fucking fan fiction, you crybabies. Like go sit down and write it out, and then you can have the magical fucking ending with John braiding Danny's hair and their babies and shit, like whatever you think was gonna happen in a show where they've never ever ever given you any reason to think something
Right.
like that would happen ever. The whole point was everyone was like so hyped around the. I think what really happened. Here's what I really think. When nobody, like only a couple people died during the fucking Battle of Winterfell with the White Walkers, people were like, oh, well, maybe there will be a good happy ending because Brienne's still alive, Jaime's still alive. They all survived it pretty much, all of the bigots. Only a couple people died, like fucking dipshit Greyjoy and Ed. You know, it was like,
Yeah.
it wasn't a big. I thought too. I thought the show was just gonna fucking murder like 30 characters and that shit, and it didn't happen. So I think people were like, oh well, maybe they'll get their fairy tale ending. You know, maybe John and Danny will have incest babies and they'll fucking live happy ever after. Who knows? I think once that didn't happen, and then they go, oh well, you were wrong because, and that's the whole point of the show is like they subvert. What you think is going to happen. So there's like, oh well, yeah, everybody survives that thing with the zombies, but guess what? Danny's gonna fucking murder a whole city. So like, you're still gonna be fucking sad. Like, and that's how the show's always been. I don't know why anybody's that surprised. And you're allowed to critique anything. I'm a firm believer in criticism. I don't like
Oh
people
no,
who
and
say like,
I kind of agree. I think, yeah, I mean, season 8. I feel like episode 1 and 2 could have been one episode. I think episode 3 could have been 2 episodes.
I think this season should have just ended with Arya killing the Night King, and then they could have done a whole other season with what they're doing right now. And
Yeah.
I think if they would have been able to do that, split it to a ninth season, I think there would be less complaining, because then you'd have all these people who don't understand what plot holes are. They would complain less because the time would move a little slower for their brains, and it wouldn't be such a downpouring of like character endings, like, because it's just like you're just not used to it on the show in general, because you're so used to just like two people in robes talking in a garden about what might happen, and then all of a sudden it's just like, this happens, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead, and it's just like, you're like, oh god, it's so much to process after watching this slow talking show for so long.
Yeah, and that's like, I heard that same complaint about people saying that, like, well, they were just at King's Landing all of a sudden, or there was a Dragonstone, and I'm like, well, yeah, they're not gonna show them walking for a month. Like,
I wish they would have.
Yeah.
I wish they would just have like, oh, by the way, we shot a whole season of just the characters walking, the soldiers walking from place to place. You can watch those. They're like 40 hours of just soldier walking footage that you can enjoy.
Yeah.
On a loop, you fucking weirdos. It's the same thing that they complained about in The Dark Knight Rises, when like Bruce Wayne left. He was like underground in that thing and got out of Bane's thing, and then he was like all of a sudden, how did he get to Gotham City?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? They're not going to show him like on a boat or a plane, like just sitting there, like waiting to get back to the United States. It's so irritating. I'm like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Those can't be your complaints. You're allowed to complain, but they can't be stupid.
Yeah.
It can't be like, literally every movie and TV show is like that. They can't show you. So time moves quickly. Like I don't understand that. There have been like some moments where the show you can critique. Like I was telling Courtney earlier, I thought the way they killed the dragon was like, obviously, like they have to do these things to like get the story moving quickly. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was kind of like, ugh, that's kind of whack. But I understand it. It has a method and a reason behind it.
Yeah, and that was the thing too. Like when that happened, even I was like, well, why doesn't she just fly behind the fleet?
Yeah.
But then the next episode, that's exactly what she does.
Yeah.
And but you know, you think about it then too. It's like, this is her child that just got a fucking dart in her neck, and
yeah.
So she's emotional. She's not thinking military, she's just thinking, you know, that whole fight or flight thing. She's thinking flight. And when she gets to regroup, she gets to put together an actual plan. And yeah, it's I don't know. Like, there's so many things that led up to that, and everybody's like, oh, it happened in one episode, where it just happened over time. But it also, the fact is she's lost like her close advisor. She's also lost her best friend and another close advisor in Missandei. She lost two of her children.
And it's wild that motherfuckers are like totally fine with a movie, a 2-hour movie that could span 100 years. Story wise, they bounce around, but then when they're watching a show, they're like, "Oh, this is bullshit."
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, the episode's an hour and a half, where you're like mad that like this doesn't make sense to your brain. But you watch Avengers, which takes place over the last Avengers movie, is like 6 or 7 years, and you're fine with it. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
and you know, I was thinking too, like making that Thanos comparison to her and Thanos, where like Thanos, you know, he wasn't necessarily like, he didn't necessarily want to do what he had to do. He just had to do it to save humanity. Like, that's his justification.
Thanos is a narcissist.
Yeah.
Thanos is a narcissist where only his ideas are good ideas.
Yeah. And I think, but in his head, he's, you know, he thinks this is the way to go. Where I think the same happened with her of, look, all these people are turning against me. My nephew / boyfriend is probably going to try to take my throne. I just lost all these people. I need to show them, like she said about a half hour before she did that, fear it is.
Yeah,
Like,
that those lead up scenes I also had a bit of a problem with, just because those were the scenes that they showed that were so John centric. I like the scene with Grey Worm and the shackle, her burning the shackle or whatever. I liked that. Those were more meaningful, but like showing the scene with Tyrion coming in and her hair's undone and she's like, there's been a traitor, and she says Jon Snow, points that she's only thinking about her, like, you know, thinking about him, and then like and then there's the scene with him when they kiss and he pulls away and she's like, fear it is. And I'm like, okay, I get all of that stuff and what they're doing, but like I wish they wouldn't have made John such a heavy centric part on that, just because it as from a story element it kind of looks it. I know that that's not what it is, but like for like some people they go, oh well, she's just a crazy ex-girlfriend now. She's like, oh, her boy hurt her feelings and now she's going to murder people. Like,
yeah,
they should have kind of, that's why I think the show, and this isn't a critique on anything they're doing, because they are a bunch of mini movies put together, so it does feel quick, but another season would have benefited where you could have had more of those scenes of her just processing, because the show has done so much processing. So when you don't get to see a lot of it, it does feel like a little abrupt in these moments. But I also understand that this is all they have. This is the time they have. This is the money they have. They have to do all of these things and get it all done. So I'm not critiquing it as it's like a bad thing, but it's a wish that, like, I think that for complainers, they would have had less complainers if they would have gotten off another season of just this post Night King shit. And people could be like, oh yeah, just more time to develop the fact that she's unraveling and she feels betrayed and she feels like no one appreciates everything she did and the sacrifices, and she's just like, fuck everybody, you know, at that point.
Yeah, and that's another thing, is she's been told her whole life that everybody in Westeros is just waiting for her to come back and all this kind of stuff, and she gets there and everybody's like, fuck this lady. You know.
I mean, fuck all those people. Fuck all those. I mean, fuck everybody on the show. They're all fucking scumbags. Everybody. There's like, I was trying to think, and the only person I could think of who's like kind of a good guy is like Gendry. He seems like all right. He was like, he had sex once and then wanted to get married. Like, you know, and he's just like, oh no, he said he had more than sex than her. But like, he was like, you know, he's just like, I'm gonna hide and I'm gonna fucking make fucking weapons, and then he's just like, I want to get married, and you know, he seemed like the only like decent guy. Like, there's literally no decent people on the show.
Well, yeah, that's what I always say about, like, you know, like people talk about like our current president being a narcissist. It's like, you realize every president is like, you have to be to reach that level of power or even want that level of power.
Yeah,
like, you have to be a psychopath to want that. Yeah,
there's definitely you have to think. I mean, you have to automatically think that you're better than most people to be in a leadership role. Like, that's the whole point.
Yeah. And you even think about that, like any of your jobs where you've worked with somebody, or anybody out there that's worked with somebody that has got moved up, automatically everybody's like, oh, fuck him. Like, he thinks he's better than us. You know what I mean? Like, there's that, but there's also, and like, you also have that thing of like, fuck, now, like, I was once one of you, now I have to like make decisions for you and all that kind of stuff. So it is a thing that, you know, even at the lower levels, it's very real that you do have to be an asshole.
Yeah, you definitely have to be a prick, and you also have to be a bit of a narcissist to be in any of those. Because you have to think, all of the weight is on me, and I deserve to be here, and I'm the only one who can figure it out. Yeah. But with that being said, and all that said, when it comes to all of the shit that's going on with all these fucking crybabies, it's really a big part of it is, it's just the times we live in. It correlates and relates to everything that's fucking else is going on socially, where Everybody is signaling nonstop, and overreacting to shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
To
you
a
said, the
degree,
outrage culture.
yeah. And now it's like the outrage culture is like, you think it's just politics and social issues where you think that's where everybody's just like having it out. It's not. It's in everything now. Like the fact that they literally sort of announced that Robert Pattinson was going to be Batman, and I don't give a fuck. Like Justin Conway, would I cast Robert Pattinson as Batman? No, I wouldn't, because he's not my personal choice. But I'm not Matt Reeves, and whatever. Like, I am done getting mad about all of this shit, because what's the fucking point? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spend any time like, oh motherfuckers, like, I'm not. There's good Batman movies. I lived long enough to see a really good trilogy of Batman movies, and I'm happy. And I saw Avengers movies and all kinds of things. So I'm not gonna stay up all night like fucking mad and like. But they already started petitions about Robert Pattinson. I'm like, there isn't even a fucking scene. Nothing. There's nothing. You're protesting nothing. He hasn't even like officially said, "Oh, I'm doing this," and then people's like, "We gotta stop this. This is." I'm like, why? Like, fuck you. Why? Like, okay, like I get that you don't like it. Some people don't like it. Some people do. And there's a whole other argument where people are like, he's the one of the most amazing actors out there. He's gonna be the best Batman of all time. It's like, no, you can't say that either. Like, what the fuck? Why is everyone talking in extremes? Not everything it has to be like, this is the end, this is the best, this is the worst. Just calm the fuck down. Calm the fuck down and realize that, like, literally there is actual real shit going on in the world, and you need to calm the fuck down. That being said, if you don't like something, fine. But petitions and constantly freaking, or like when the Last Jedi stuff, when they were attacking the actors on their social media pages and shit, it's like,
or boycotting.
They're just cashing checks. Yeah, they're just cashing checks, bro. You think fuck all actors give a shit about any of this content? They don't give a fuck about it.
Which that sucked too, because like Solo, which was a really good movie, especially in comparison to Last Jedi, like it was.
I like
it suffered a lot because people were like, "Oh, we're not gonna," and now they're like questioning if they want to do these side stories anymore.
Oh, they pretty much canceled all of them. They're going to do that Mandalorian show, which is good. But they shit canned all of the others, the other one-off like spin-off things.
Yeah.
But Rian Johnson apparently still getting his trilogy, which I'm fine with. I like Last Jedi because I don't like the old Star Wars movies. I think it's weird and incesty that you have to be obsessed with this weird bloodline in every goddamn movie. Now they're going to bring it all back again. The next one, I'm going to be like, oh, cool, there's the Skywalkers, they're important. Again, the whole goddamn universe, it's just them. They're the only ones that matter. It's too Christy, and I'm not into it.
Well, yeah, but, especially considering Anakin was birthed from the Force.
Yeah, but like, but at the end of the day, like, people who don't like it, people who like it, it doesn't impact your fucking life. Like, you still gotta get up and fucking take a shower. Like, you can't. It's not gonna be like, oh, I can't go to work today. The fucking Game of Thrones, just that last episode, really is just really bad, and everything needs to stop. Like, everyone is too fucking extreme. The outrage culture is wilding, and now it's because, like, I get into fucking arguments on Instagram and Facebook with people who are just so insane about shit. There is no opinions. It's just, this is the worst thing ever. This is the best thing ever. Like,
or they ask for your opinion and then get mad when you tell them and it's different than the one you have.
Yes. It's like the Ben Affleck was the last thing. It was like Ben Affleck was Batman. Did I think Ben Affleck was a good casting? No. Did I think that the movies were bad because of him? No.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just an actor. Like, I don't think, like, so but then you have all these people on the other side of it going, these are the best incarnations of Batman ever, and you're wrong, and like Christian Bale. It's like, why does everything just have to be like this is this, this is that. There's nothing else. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I got into an argument with a guy on AV Club because they posted this dumbass fucking article about Barry, which Barry, shout out Barry, great show.
Oh yeah.
They were like this. The headline was like, the Barry about the episode where they had was basically that long fight scene with that guy or whatever.
Yes.
Spoilers for everybody watch the show.
That
but
is...
like they were like this is the best. This is why this scene worked and why the battle scenes in Game of Thrones and Avengers don't work. And I'm like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Why is this? How are these things even in the same ballpark? First of all, Game of Thrones.
The Taekwondo fight versus the dragon.
versus a fucking huge, the biggest battle sequence ever shot versus one thing which was 30 actors on a green screen, like just running towards fucking nothing. Like, how are you comparing these things? But it wasn't even that. It was they were basically, they had to sling mud at these other things that were pop culturally relevant to make a point about this. And I'm like, why can't you just talk about how this was really fucking cool? Like, and great. Yeah. And like, why do you have to fucking go, and that other thing that other people like is fucking stupid? Like, what? Yeah. Like, they're not even the same. It's like if you were comparing like fucking like any other fucking movies, you're like, oh, I really like the fucking chase in Speed, but you know, compared to that scene in Drive when he's just driving, and I'm like, it's because there's cars. They're not even the same fucking thing. Like, right. They're not the same. One is a big tentpole action thing that costs hundreds of $millions. One was a tiny, and it was comedy also. Like, it's a comedy. It's done for comedy. Like, I was so irritated. This guy was like, you're just mad because they're right. And a lot of people thought that the Game of Thrones was disappointing and the Avengers was sloppy. And I'm like, I'm not mad about those people can say that they don't like that stuff. That's fine. You can say you didn't like the Game of Thrones Winterfell scene. You can say you don't like Avengers. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but you can't go, this is bad because that's great, or this is how. And they're not even the fucking same. They're not this fucking same, and that's why. What's the problem right now is everybody just has to be so like, oh, you're full of shit. It's nonstop. Like
essentially, people would have been happy if Daenerys would have superglued her hands to the back of a dragon.
Yeah, if she just would have had like a one-on-one, really long, funny fight scene with Cersei, people would have been really happy about it. Like if she just snuck
Cersei
in,
just would have climbed up the bell tower herself.
She just had like a long, really long, awkward like talk fight, like talking and then fighting, like in the castle, the two of them. That would be really entertaining, but Cersei would beat the fuck out of her because she's so little. So it would just be one-sided. But yeah, that's the world we live in, man. There's no getting around it now. And like, Batman's already canceled, and they don't even have a fucking scene for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Matt Reeves is a really capable director. The Apes movies were fucking phenomenal.
Dude, I love those things. I sat through when War came out. I sat through the triple like feature thing.
Oh, like, really?
Because I love those movies. I mean,
it
ended up being like a weird experience because during War, like about an hour in, our reel just stopped. Like I think I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, that's happened to me in a couple movies.
Yeah, but so it was kind of like almost ruined for me a little bit because it was like, oh, you set through these other movies and then it's like, wait, what? But yeah, I mean, I love those. Like I can put those on all the time and just dig them. So, but yeah, I did want to talk about like some with all the complaints. There's some stuff I really loved in that last episode.
Yeah.
Mainly, and I think you were talking about it before you cut out, but the Clegane Bowl of like how beautiful that shot was, like the golden sky and everything.
Yeah, the dragon flying by, he's walking up the stairs and they're looking down on him, and that was like a painting. It felt like a painting. It was very well executed and planned for sure.
Yeah, and like just just the way like you kind of see it in that moment, and obviously before when he tells her like don't become me, like he literally kills himself for revenge.
Yeah, and she would if she would have went after Cersei and she followed her down there to kill her, she would have died also.
Yeah.
Which would have been the whole thing. Um, yeah, I mean that there was so much good that's happening, and also it portrayed George R. R. Martin, who is an outspoken anti-war person, which is like the whole episode is basically to show you that there are no good or bad people in war. Once the war is happening, everybody like devolves into monsters, and that's always been his thing. People were really surprised by it, I guess, but I don't think so. It's just like I've always kind of portrayed it, and I like that they put Jon and Tyrion in a place where they are now war criminals, and they have to live with that, knowing because they both knew that this could go this way, and they had opportunities to stop it. Like the only opportunity they have is to kill her, but that's an opportunity that you could have saved all of those people, because if you're flipping a coin in your brain, going maybe she will, maybe she won't, and you bet on won't, and she goes will, that's still on you and on your conscience, and you are now like an officially a participant because you did not do anything about it. And in that show, people do things about shit. Like Varys was trying to fucking do shit and got himself killed. So people the fact that he just kind of wished for it.
And I believe that he did do something because, I mean, they show him writing the letter, and then he goes out to talk to Jon, and then they come back and he's writing a letter. And I think people are thinking that's the same letter, but it's obvious. To me, I took it as he's sending the scrolls out on the Ravens already.
Oh yeah, he probably told everybody. He sent it. He probably sent it all over.
Like he only burned the one that he was writing at that moment, but
I also think that he was trying to poison her, because like he had that little girl who was working in the kitchen, and he was like, has she eaten? And she's like, she hasn't eaten.
To the
risk, like, yeah, and she was like, try again later. And it was like, because he tried to poison her once, he could have been trying to poison her again. And she's obviously pretty smart.
I didn't think about it. Like you said, like, it it would be on their conscience if it does go wrong, and he was trying to avoid that.
Yeah, he wanted to. I think that because he told Tyrion, he's like, he'll do whatever it takes or whatever. And I think like when she was telling that, he was telling his little bird, and she was like, it's risky and dangerous. Blah. He's like, sometimes, you got to take these risks or whatever he said, because you have to or whatever. That he was basically, and I took that as like maybe he was trying, because she worked in the kitchen and was bringing her food. Maybe he was trying to have her poisoned in those moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's a great point. So.
Then that's the show. It's like that's why Tyrion has kind of failed, and that's why Jon has failed, because they both had moments where they looked at her several times. They were looking at her like, "Fuck, maybe this is not gonna go the way we hope it goes," and they still didn't do anything. And that's fucking on them,
Yeah, and I know there was like some disappointments too with like Cersei not really getting her comeuppance, but I feel like her death was almost worse than like an Arya stabbing or anything. Like everything's literally crumbling around her, and she's just kind of, I don't know. Like, I think she knew at that moment everything. She just wanted the power. Like that was her thing. And even at the end, she just like, I just, my baby, but she had no choice but to die. And
I was bummed. My only complaint with the Cersei thing was that she is supposed to be really smart, and she had like no backup really in that moment. She was just like, I'm gonna shoot these dragons with big bow and arrows, and then like someone was like, what if that doesn't work? And she's like, it'll work. Like, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then she's just like, if not, we'll just burn up and die. And like, or her thing was like, oh, fill the city, and if it's full of people, she won't burn it up. And I was like, oh, okay. Great
Yeah,
plan.
I think that was her thought, was like, well, she's not You know, she's already
Yeah,
said she's not going to do
she's
that.
not gonna sack the city, but like I feel like as a great like schemer, like in that moment, I feel like she should have had like one more like evil ace up her sleeve where she was like, "Oh yeah, what about this?" and like fucking something else horrible happens instead of just
Yeah.
standing there like staring for like it's like hours and just then just finally going, "Okay, well that's it, we're done." Easy for
Yeah,
that
the
actress this season though.
I kind of had like a moment where I was like, when they, because I kind of thought like my thinking and would have been that, because what's his name says like, oh, I'm the guy who killed the Kingslayer or whatever.
Oh yeah, and the man who killed Jamie Lannister,
Yeah.
Euron Greyjoy, who is Hot Topic Jamie Lannister.
So they're in that moment when he meets her in the dragon pit or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this Arya?
Yeah,
Because I'm like, if he's dead, she could take his face at that point.
yeah, I had a thought that too. That was kind of like a lot of predictions were like, oh, she's gonna like sneak up on her and do that, but I guess Clegane is very he can actually he's very convincing. I guess you look at my ugly face, you want to look like this, and she's like, no, I don't want to look like you.
Yeah,
But
and
I think
even in that moment, like Arya's like she called him by his first name, which nobody ever calls him by that on the show.
Yeah.
Like it's either Clegane or the Hound, and she actually says Sandor, and he's kind of like, what? She's like, thank you or whatever. Like it was like a really nice moment of knowing they're never going to see each other again, and also like you just probably just saved my life, and I don't know. I just thought it was very cool and like a fitting end, because I don't know. I don't think it was till that moment she really crossed him off her list.
yeah, I really enjoyed all that stuff.
Yeah.
What they've done with Arya, I think, is great. And I think that the Hound, who was my other favorite character other than Tyrion, the Hound was fantastic, and his completed story arc was great. The way he dies and all of the things that led up to it were so good. All of it, you forget that he fucking got his ass beat by Brienne. And, like all these things happened to him, and like all this shit. And he got to do what it's all he was trying to do was fucking kill his brother. That was it. That's all he wanted to do.
Like, people are mad at like the Brienne and Jaime thing, but like, I don't know. I feel like I've known so many people that have made so many bad decisions because
especially in relationships
of like the quote unquote one that got away or something. You know what I mean? Like everybody has that friend. It's like, dude, why are you still dating this girl?
Yeah,
like they just keep going back to her, and I think that's what it was.
That's one of the easiest things they explain in the show. I saw a lot of people comparing it to addiction and shit, like he's an addict, and I was like, it's not that complicated. It's literally just like some people stay in unhealthy relationships forever, and it happens all the fucking time. Literally, like people get married and when they're 17 and stay together for 20 years and they hate each other because they whatever. Yeah. Like they fucking do it it happens all the time. Like I've been in relationships that were fucking trash and you just stay in them because you feel like this is all you have, and then you catch yourself a year later, you're like, that was stupid. But like he's just fucked up. Like it's pretty simple. Like he's a fucked up person, and it was sad to watch him die. I've been Team Jaime Lannister for a couple seasons now. Fantastic story arc, great rise and fall. But he's like so many other dudes. Like he's fucked up over some woman that.
Well, and that's the other thing too. Like people,
vice versa.
Because there are dragons and there are reincarnation, or not reincarnation, resurrections and everything like that, people get so wrapped up in the fantasy. But what made this such a hard hitting, and like what cut through all the other ones, is it was truly a human show where they cover these things like this, or the fact that somebody can drive themselves nuts into the fact of like, the only way I can even hold on to this city is to destroy it. So it all makes sense to me, because humans are pieces of garbage.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, that's pretty much, that's the theme of the show. That's definitely the theme of the show, is that everybody is trash, and that there are no guarantees in life, and there is no happy endings. That's like the whole point of the show, is that it's not a fucking hero's journey like show, like a movie where the fucking hero like he's like, I'm gonna be the hero, then he has this hour of conflict and resolution, and then he becomes who he thought he didn't want to be. The end. This show is not that, and it'll never be that. So with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this up with
Tormund just needs to lay into Brienne in the last scene. That's all that needs to happen.
Yeah, so Courtney was briefly talking about his predictions. He thinks Sansa will end up on the throne with Arya as her hand.
Yeah.
What do you have a final prediction? Because I have to get going here in a couple of minutes, and this is a good place to wrap it up. Do you have any final predictions? What do you think is going to happen tomorrow on the last ever Game of Thrones, which is fucking wild?
Gosh, I've heard that. I've heard the Sansa thing quite a bit, so I feel like that's probably where it's going. I haven't really thought about it too much, because I've tried to just stay away from any theories, because if it does happen, then I feel like I got gypped out of the thing. Well, somebody like, I started watching it like before here, and I'm like, wait, if that happens, then I'm gonna be really pissed off. I'm not gonna listen to these theories anymore. But who do you is that what you think too? Is
no. I kind of feel like that Daenerys has what she wants. I don't think that she's going to let Jon or Tyrion close to her at this point. If she doesn't kill Tyrion, he's ousted. Like, she's not going to let any of them close to her, because she doesn't trust them. She just murdered a whole city. So she knows she's smart, going to be smart enough to know that I can't have these fucking people near me, because they're going to try to, like, she was already paranoid about losing the throne that she didn't have. Now she has it. She's going to oust these motherfuckers, all of them. If she doesn't kill them, she's not going to let them close enough. I want to say, like, that since the show is so weird about not giving you the endings that you think, like the classic endings, the classic conflict resolutions, I almost want to say, like, there will be some weird government division at the end where they're just like, hey, I'm in charge. You go back up and run the north, and I won't murder everyone. This is just the new world now. That's it. And then maybe they have like some passage of time where she's pregnant or something and she has a baby. Another theory I had was that like she will like make Jon like a submissive character, because what if she is pregnant and she has a child, and then Jon has to go, okay, well, am I going to kill the mother of my child? Of course not. They have a child together, and he's forced to rule by her side forever, even though he doesn't like it. Like, I mean, what is he going to do? Like, he's not going to fucking kill the mother of his child. Jon's not the type. There are a lot of different things, but I really don't know. And that's the beauty of it, and that's why I like the show, because all of the weird book theories have been meaningless in the show, especially the last 2 seasons. There's been a couple here and there, but like all of like the prophecy stuff has been nothing. So I have no fucking idea, and that's kind of what I like about it. And I'm gonna be surprised no matter what they decide to do. If they decide to kill Daenerys after all that, I'll be surprised. I'll be surprised if she doesn't die and whatever. And I was always thinking, like, I remember talking about this stupid show like last year or 2 years ago, and I'm like, oh, John and Daenerys will have a baby and they'll do like a fucking passage of time in these last episodes. Like, I was like so fucking naive and like just wrapped up in what I wanted in my fantasy brain to like come
Yeah.
true as like a
No, I
writer.
think I think we all were. We had almost 2 years to to make up our own beautiful endings and write our own fan fiction. So when it doesn't come true, that's why everybody gets upset. But like you said, it's not ours.
It's not.
So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have. I don't know. It's so fucking stupid to me, the whole thing, and not the show, but the complaints.
I'm looking forward to Twitter tomorrow night. I really am.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night is going to be the fucking pinnacle of Twitter. I don't think there's going to be.
That's the other thing
so
too. Like, people are complaining before they see how it ends. Like, who goes to a movie, watches 3/4 of it, walks out and says, "I fucking hated that movie." Well, you didn't like the ending? Well, I didn't sit around for the ending.
Yeah, I didn't stay for it. I was just like the fucking middle of the second act. I really was like, this stupid. I was like, all this conflict and no resolution. I'm out of here. Like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna find out.
Not even waiting for the fucking thing. It's so dumb. But
yeah, it's fucking dumb. And but I'm super excited. I'm gonna eat chicken wings and I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna drink wine and eat chicken wings. It's gonna be fucking great. And I'm gonna be glad that it's over, so I don't have to fucking stress about it ever again. It'll be a good thing. Just like I was happy with Avengers because I was like, yes, they're gonna keep making those movies, but now I know what's happened. I don't have to think about it anymore. I don't have to fucking worry, like, wonder what are they gonna do? Try to guess? I was like, it's done. I've seen it. I don't think about it anymore. It's over. Like, that's what I want with this. It's just like, walk on, bring on the next fucking book or story or whatever. I'm just ready for what's next. Something else, something smaller. Before I go, I just want to say, Courtney, I love you. And anybody who is not watching What We Do in the Shadows on FX, I'm all caught up. It's fucking amazing. It's the best comedy on TV right now. Everyone should be watching that shit. It's so fucking funny. So fucking funny. They had a great episode before last with a bunch of cameos, which I will not spoil, but they were amazing. And the dude who plays Nandor is the funniest thing ever. It's a kind of show where a show is funny when you think about it later and you're like, when he said that, it was so funny. You have like those later on thoughts.
Yeah.
I've been having that a lot with this show. I don't have that with Barry. I think Barry is very enjoyable, but I don't think about it later. I don't go, oh yeah, it was funny. I just go with this show. I'm like, oh man, I'm like in the shower thinking about like the way the actors enunciate words for comedy. So
I have those moments with Barry, but it's usually from Hank. Like,
oh yeah,
dude, and the first season, I still think about like when he's texting Barry and he's using the like bubbles and everything else. Like, hey, you gonna kill that guy yet? Like, it's so funny. But yes, I know what you mean. I'll have to check that out. That's you said it's on FX.
Yeah, so fucking funny, dude. It's so good. But other than that, I'm gonna get off here, and I'm gonna go watch a movie that's on Amazon. I don't remember the name about it, but if it's good, I will talk about it next time. Probably, Courtney, I will be going to Palm Springs next week, so there will be I don't know if we'll have time to do another one of these next week. We'll see what happens. But Drew, everybody, check out. He has a podcast if you want to do some promo for the 2 people who watch this.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Draft Podcast. You can find it on, everything, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, all that good stuff. We do fantasy draft style of pretty much everything. We've been going through our Women's Month for Mother's Day. We just did Best Female Singers. The one coming out tomorrow or Monday will be the Funniest Ladies. So check it out. And I just gotta say,
I
man,
still have not been a guest on this podcast, so I can't vouch for it. It could be trash. I don't know.
No, I keep telling you you're coming up there in the summer. Well, I'll get with you about hammering down an actual time that hopefully isn't midnight. I've been up since 5 o'clock my time right now, so
Yeah, I always forget about it.
I've been so excited to just complain about the idiots. So, but yeah, man,
Yeah.
I love this. I can't always stay up for it, but I always try to catch the replay. So I love what you guys are doing here. Keep up the good
Yeah,
work.
hopefully fucking Instagram saves this portion of it so I can record it and throw it up on YouTube. That's the only downfall of doing this live stream, but that's the nature of the game. We like to roll the dice, you know, and see what happens. Sometimes you get to see it, sometimes no one sees it. It's fun like that. All right, everybody. This has been it's fun. Tomorrow is Game of Thrones. God have mercy on all of us, you know?
Absolutely.
Courtney, I will be in touch. I love you. Drew, I love you. Thug aside
love you, buddy.
forever.
What?
And shit, I'm out of here. Waving goodbye.
Stay cool, everybody.
Have a great summer. Stay in school.